Yo, what's going on everyone? This video is going to be a little bit different than my normal content because this is actually going to be a keyboard review. To get straight into it, this is the Vulcan 2 Max. This was actually made by Roccat and they sent me this keyboard for free, but although they sent it to me for free, I'm going to still give you my full non-biased opinion on this keyboard, and this is my full review on this keyboard, not someone else's. This is me personally, Spy_Evans review on this keyboard. So who am I? I am a partner Twitch streamer. I do YouTube, I do TikTok, so I'm sitting at my desk for 5+ hours a day, and who's going to be a better person to tell you about it than somebody who's actually going to use the product. The Vulcan 2 Max does come out on October 17th, so by the time you're seeing this video, it should be available for people like us to purchase the keyboard, and let's get straight into it. So the way they advertise this keyboard is that they said this is going to be the most beautiful keyboard ever made, like word for word, this is the most beautiful keyboard ever made. This is going to be the crown jewel of any PC gamer's desktop, and it's going to grab the attention with its sleek lines, the aluminum plate, and the brilliantly lit translucent palm rest. And I'm gonna be honest, it does look as good as they make it sound to advertise. This keyboard does look really nice. At first I was like, how can they make a palm rest, something that's detachable and not technically a part of the keyboard, look good? Something about what they did with like the inserts into the keyboard and the palm rest make it look like it was actually built in, like the lights are built into the palm rest. It looks so smooth, and I'll be honest with you, the hype, it does live up to its hype of looking beautiful. This is a nice keyboard. Everything about it, from the lighting, looks really nice, and I'll give it a 10 on the lighting. It looks really good. This is exactly what I would ask for if you're just going for, I want a pretty keyboard that looks really nice with colors, pretty colors. And coming from a Razer fanboy, this literally is just as good as Razer with the colors. So I've always been a Razer fan my whole life, and one of the few things that I've always stuck by Razer for was the Razer Synapse. This was like the main reason why I would never swap to another keyboard. And now I'm just now realizing that other programs have caught up, or maybe this has always been available the whole time. They have a program called the Roccat Swarm, which is just exactly like Razer Synapse. If you're familiar with that program, I'm gonna show you guys some of the features that it has on the program. We have sound feedback, key assignments for macros, which was like one of the main things I never wanted to swap off of, was because I loved the feature of being able to take an input of like your keyboard and assign it to a feature that continuously play. Like let's say I want to spam left click, it can read the keyboard, I can make the macro myself. Or let's do a left click 3 times, 1 2 3, I can choose the delays of each click, I can make it so it's continuous playback until I click the button I assign it to, and I just genuinely didn't think other programs could do that. So this is a really nice like a refresher that, hey, it's not just Razer that can do this. They do have a lot of lighting options here, and honestly I would have never believed it until I saw it, and this was like an eye-opening moment for me, seeing that it's not just Razer that has the features that is like the heartbeat, the snake, fully lit heartbeat. I'm probably gonna have somewhere towards the end of this video showing off each one of these modes. And in case you ever wanted to do like your own custom lighting, they also have a custom mode as well. So you can choose, look at the main keys can be a certain color, the WASD, every single feature, including just the palm rest. You can make the palm rest its own color if you really wanted to. So I think that's really cool. I'll definitely go into more about this in towards the end of this video and have like timestamps including each one in case you want to see which one is which. And the next thing I want to go directly into is the switches. The Titan 2 optical red smooth linear switches. These have a 1.4 mm actuation point and 3.6 mm travel distance. Linear switches might be the best option for you if you just want that smooth, consistent, like noiseless, silent keystroke. And the tactile switches are a great choice if you like that instant clickety clack. Me personally, I'd recommend going with the linear switches. What makes these switches special? Let's get into it. The Titan 2 optical switches, these are triggered by lights. So the second that you press down on the key, it's like ridiculously fast actuation, like the moment the key is pressed. These switches offer a 100 million key press life cycle, which is double the lifespan compared to like most traditional mechanical keyboard switches. And if you really wanted to, you just gotta look for cross-mounted keycaps, and you could actually take off the switch and get like third-party, let's say you want the Valorant, I've seen those on TikTok all the time, Valorant keycaps, and you can customize it. You can take these keycaps out and put in your own ones. Just make sure to get the cross-mounted ones. Another thing I do also want to talk about is the keyboard functions. This is also one of the coolest things I've ever seen, was when I was installing this keyboard, I noticed that in case you don't realize, the F5 key has a direct picture of the Roccat Swarm logo on it, and it was blinking the entire time. I was so confused. I was like, why is this keyboard blinking at me? Turns out it was giving me a sign that I needed to update my program, so everything's like the Roccat Swarm was out of date. Like it must have got like a new driver update and more features. So the keyboard was blinking at me, telling me, hey, by the way, you need to update your Roccat. And I thought that was the craziest thing ever, that the keyboard has built-in functionality switches to like indicate, hey, by the way, update your keyboard. Same thing goes with the other keys. There's a mute mic button, there's a answer incoming phone calls, you can open messages. I think that's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen added onto a keyboard, and I've never in my lifetime ever heard of a keyboard functionality that like tells you things like it needs to be updated, or like indicators like that. That's crazy to me, but that's pretty cool. These are called easy functions, and these are advertised as the world's first dual LED smart keys. One thing I do also like about this keyboard is that on the top right, there's the pause button for your music, there's the next video button, and the previous video in case you want to go back to the last song. This is actually a volume knob. You can actually push it down to instantly mute your volume. You could twist it left and right in case you want to turn up the volume, turn it down. And honestly, it's a pretty cool feature for a nice keyboard like this. Usually I don't really like the bigger keyboard designs, but this makes having a bigger keyboard feel worth it. Coming up towards the end of this, is the price tag worth it of $230 US dollars for the Vulcan 2 Max? I think this keyboard compared to other competitors is a good deal. It's a good deal. The other keyboards are all around like the 200 to 250 price range, depending on what brand you go with. I see Razer's Huntsman is also like 250. So the fact that you're paying less for more features and a nice program that comes with it that is just as good, I think this is a fair price for a nice, beautiful keyboard that also just looks really good. The wrist pad rest really gives a nice feeling of this makes it worth more than the other competitors. So yes, I give this keyboard like a 10 out of 10. The only thing I personally don't like, USB 2.0, 2 slots of USBs that have to go into your computer. I'm lucky I own a USB hub, because man, does this thing take up a lot of ports. The other keyboard I had was only one USB port, but I guess it makes sense that you'd want a separate one for the LEDs and one for the input time. 2 USBs, I'm not used to that, but I think nowadays most traditional mechanical keyboards also do that. I just never upgraded past that, but my old keyboard was only one USB 2.0 and this is 2 USBs 2.0. And the size is one of the things that I don't know if it's just like, I don't know, it's like the number pad just doesn't feel like worth needing on a keyboard with already having the number switches. But honestly, what I'd recommend doing is taking like the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and you can use those as macros for other stuff, and you can preset them to be like anything that you'd want. That's the whole point of it being like key bindable switches. So it's a plus and a negative, but I'd rather have had the size there and still kept the arrow keys instead. But let me know what you guys think about this keyboard, or if you're thinking of getting it, leave a comment down below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please click like, subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy.